What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another weekly review. This week, I'll just take you quickly through how the week went, as well as how the current plan is performing. I know based on my back testing session, Friday evening, um, I'd said that I was going to revise the plan this weekend and then again 2 weeks from now before the challenge started. But after that detailed trade review, um, I've decided that I want to let this plan run for these next 2 weeks and just build up a bit more data before making certain decisions because the plan is not looking too bad. It's got some, good feedback from it, some not so good feedback from it, but I think ultimately haven't given it enough time really in the live market to make a solid or change that I feel will be significant at this point with the data that I have. So I'm going to keep it running. I think there's been pockets of poor execution of the plan, which has resulted in a few unnecessary losses. But I think overall, it's a pretty solid plan that covers the concepts quite well. And just happy to run with it for this next 2 weeks, and then I should have at least about 20 trades because I think I'm on 9 in total. I'll show you that in a bit. Um, but I think a key takeaway that's come from this detailed trade review was a clear differentiation between the setups that I actually have in the plan. So, as you know from last week, I took you guys through this revised, well, not last week, week before, so 2 weeks ago. This was the revised flow chart. And there are essentially four paths to getting to this execution framework. And I cover that in a bit of detail in my backtesting session from Friday, the 16th of August. So if you want a detailed breakdown of what those setups are and how they differ from each other, then just make sure to check that out. But this week we had uh, three positions technically. There's four here because one was a one and with this Euro USD short, I closed partial profits, and that it obviously counts it as its own trade, but it was part of one execution. That was a solid move. This was the position that was closed at 2R. So quarter risk trade, got to 2R, essentially closed. It was supposed to be half, 0.5%, but I think price had impulse quite a bit um, at that 2R point. And so ended up closing just a bit more. And that was on Wednesday. And then by the time I closed manually on Friday, because I'd moved stops to break even, and come Friday market close, I was still in the position. Price had retraced practically 80% of the move. So ended up closing the balance of that with very small profits. And then took two losses on Euro USD, on USD Zarmine, Thursday, New York kill zone, and then Friday, London kill zone. Arguably the same move, just different entries. But in hindsight, after reflecting on these two positions, uh, not great moves. There were pullback trades, meaning the 4 hour was pro trend with the daily bias, but my entry was counter trend to that daily and 4 hour bias. And so that's also a reason why I'm wanting to let this plan run for a bit longer, because by the end of essentially 4 weeks of testing the plan, I want to have a clear understanding of which setups perform, better than, the setups that don't perform well, if that makes sense. But yeah, I want to be able to grade my setups and understand which are my high grade setups and which are sort of lower quality, just valid setups, because then I can start sort of filtering out the setups that I see aren't working too well. So yeah, relatively active week. Break even week technically. Small profit made, but irrelevant. So that was this week. And then if we just extend that to when I started uh, with this new revised plan, you'll see even then it's about break even so far. 4 wins, 5 losses, so down about quarter of a percent. So yeah, it's not performing too badly, but I think just looking for more data from this. Because I think once I start executing more trades, so 9 trades so far on this, hence I said in 2 weeks I'll probably be at about 20, which is a good point to do a much deeper sort of review, and I can start um, I can add a bit more significance to some of the data I'm seeing. But yeah, so far it's not looking too bad. But I think if I give it more time to play out, and the more I think now that I understand the different setups, and um, I think I'll be able to prioritize them on certain trading days, if that makes sense. Because, for example, I at the moment only give myself if I take 2 losses in a day, then that's my max sort of drawdown that I'm willing to take for any given day. And normally there may be three, 2 to 3 setups, in a given trading session, and I have to sort of filter those out to see what the best setup is to obviously risk capital on. And so I think understanding now the different setups, and just being able to see high level how they're kind of performing, that's going to help me filter those, and then also get feedback if that filtering is contributing to better results or not. But yeah, we we just carry on though. But that is how the week went. That's how the month is going so far. Kind of break even at the moment, but definitely good feedback I'm getting from this. The confidence is definitely there, and I've identified just based on that detailed trade review session and my back testing on Friday, identified the critical sort of observations that um, I'm keeping an eye out for as I review these trades, and look to just build, um, that data set to then produce those actionable insights that will lead to those 1% tweaks, those improvements that will then take into the challenge. So that's the week. Yeah, looking forward to this week ahead. I'll catch you guys in the back testing session this coming Wednesday. And don't forget, guys, consistency is the choice you make when you start doing the things you know you should be doing day in and day out.